Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you guys here with me today. If you're new here, my name is Sky. I am the founder and CEO of Create Your Own Reality Media. Now today we're going to talk about something that is very important. We're going to talk about values. Now I'm sure some of you of course, or everybody has of course heard of values, right? But sometimes I don't think people necessarily know maybe what the definition of a value is or kind of how to figure that out for yourself, etc., etc. Of course, a value can be a monetary amount, but that's not the value we're focusing on today. Today, we are focusing on values in the sense of a person's belief or standards or just the things that they find very important in life. Greatness is living in a line with one's values. I think this is so incredibly important. And again, I don't feel like everybody, I don't want to say doesn't have this opportunity, but I feel like there are definitely people who haven't been able to live in their full greatness that aligns with their potential values for a couple different reasons. I think some people just maybe didn't have the right opportunities in life to achieve those things that truly aligned with all of their values, right? I'm sure, as most people are familiar when it comes to just family, relationships, life, sometimes you have to make compromises, right? So I think there's a lot of people out there who have probably had to make compromises on their values as well, right? Just to ensure that they could actually build a life for themselves that would still be pretty great, but maybe not 100% to what they really wanted or all of those things in their value list that they initially thought that they would be able to achieve. But I think the other reason that this may happen is because sometimes people may not even really know their true values. And I think that can be tricky, right? I mean, if you grow up in a household, and of course, as a kid, you're learning from your parents, you're learning from the people around you, whether that be other family members, friends, neighbors, your community, and you pick things up, right? As a kid, of course, you obviously pick up the things you hear, the things people tell you, and just overall how people act. So as you continue to grow older, you might think that, some of those things that you may have seen or experienced are normal, right? That they may be a standard, that everybody may think that same way, or whatever it may be. When in reality, that's really not the truth. I mean, the world is a very big place, and I guarantee almost every single person has a very different set of values. Of course, there are going to be those things that overlap. You know, very basic things in terms of maybe financial wealth or in terms of just physical health and wellness, personal hygiene, career values. Certain things like that might overlap between individuals. But to have a same specific pinpointed list as your neighbor or as the person that lives down the street from you, I think it's very rare. And that's because, again, as people, we are all just very different. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's important to have different people, it's important for people to have different views. And you are also able to learn from those people. Sometimes, it's really hard for people to have a conversation with somebody who has a different opinion than them, or essentially maybe a different value from them. A lot of people will just go straight into an argument. A lot of people will just either try to defend themselves or their opinion or their value without even letting that other person talk and really figure out why they feel that the way that they do, or why it is that they may have a certain stance on something. And I know I've definitely been there in the past, right? Sometimes it's really easy to jump to conclusions, especially when it's in a situation where somebody has an opposing view to you or somebody doesn't agree with something you did or may have said. It's so easy to jump into that defensiveness mode of like, whoa, hey, like, I don't agree with that, or like, you're wrong. But, I don't always think on some lines, in terms of some things, there's not a matter of right or wrong. It's, again, it really just comes down to, like, of course, a matter of opinion, but also just your values. And those are going to be different for everybody. And I think in the world we live in today, especially just in this time period, I think that is just really important to recognize that, where you stand is not going to be the same way somebody else stands, or the same way somebody across the country is going to stand, or across the world. And even though you don't agree with those people, I think it's necessary to figure out why they may think that way, right? I think that's really the root of a lot of problems, is people not truly identifying why other people feel that way, or why they think that way, why they act that way. And instead we either just place blame, or again, we jump into that defensiveness mode and just automatically start arguing with people. But what if we actually took the time and had conversations with those people? And I know that's not always possible, again, because those people might also just jump into defensiveness mode right away. So you really have to pick and choose your battles, as they say. But in regards to all of that, to even get to a point of having a conversation with somebody that has a different opinion from you, you need to figure out what your values are. And you need to figure out what's important to you. And I'm super excited to talk about this because I actually created a personal values development toolkit that will be releasing on my website. And by the time you guys are seeing this, if my website's not up already, it will be up by the end of the day, which I'm very, very excited about. I can't wait for you guys to be able to get your hands on that, to be able to dive into it, and just to identify for yourself, again, like what your values are, how that relates to what your life is currently. You really get to evaluate, are you currently living in alignment with your values? Are there certain aspects of your life that are out of alignment? And, it's just really important to always evaluate and do a little audit of your life. Things are going to change in regards to jobs, in regards to money, in regards to the location that you're living in. So I think it's really important, maybe every year, every couple years, just depending on your situation, to really take a look at your life and what you have going on, and just really think, like, am I on a path to moving towards the things that I really want? Or am I on a path that's actually taking me away or taking me farther from those things that I really want? And I don't think enough people always take that time to really look into that and really think about those decisions. So yeah, I'm just really excited again for you guys to be able to get your hands on that. I will be sure to link that down below. Again, if the website is up a little bit later than this video goes live, I will make sure to upload that link correctly by the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you guys today. I think it's really important to be aware of your values and what you want in your life, and of course, what you may want for those around you. But in that same token, I think it's also fair to be able to respect those people for maybe having a slight difference in opinions. Now, of course, it may be difficult sometimes, especially if it is a family member or a really close friend. that has really differing opinions from you. But in a situation like that, I think that is a great place to start when it comes to having a conversation with somebody that shares those different views. Because it really, again, just does come down to being more educated. I think, with social media, sometimes certain places are a little bit more inclined to just post something really quickly, maybe without even having all the facts or doing all the research. So even though we have all this instant access to news and things that go on in the world, certain places may be impartial or may, again, not even know the whole story. So it is still important for us to properly do that research and really figure out what exactly is going on before we jump to those conclusions. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for staying until the very end. If you are still here, I really appreciate you. But if you like this content, please feel free to give this video a thumbs up down below and go ahead and click that subscribe button as well. But until next time, stay motivated, be inspired, and don't forget to encourage others.